Well, a lady called, one of our neighbors called me and asked me if I could fix her desktop. The thing sat in the attic, dried out, split, and broke in half. And so now she wants me to put it back together for her so she's going to use it on another top, so it's going to be a little smaller width, that is. So we've got a little room to put it back together for her. But anyway, what I wanted to show you is this tool. This Festool tool. That this thing is so accurate. It's even more accurate than our Home Alone table saws that we have at the house. And plus the blade on this thing is designed to cut almost a mirror finish after you get through cutting through it. So I've already got this one cut, the first one. So, but I know you probably can't see it, but there's not even saw marks in this thing. It's such a good cut. I mean, as you can imagine, that blade's pretty darned expensive. Matter of fact, the whole tool is expensive. You can check it out. But anyway, what I'm going to do is now we got that one done, I'm going to set it up and cut the other piece so that you can see how to use this thing if you decide you're thinking about getting one. Here's some of the tools that go with it. This one here is the vacuum system, plus you plug the saw into here. And that's the hose that's going to hook up to the saw. This thing is so good, you could cut anything you want to in a living room, no matter how particular anybody is. This gets about 90, I'm going to say about 90, maybe 95% of the sawdust that's flying off this thing. Which means you've got just a few big pieces laying on the floor that you could vacuum up. This is the other one. This container here holds the saw. I'm telling you, this thing is quite a contraption. Vacuum hooks up to here. It's got a cord, plugs into the saw right there. Well, if I can get it on there. There we go. Twist a little bit, holds it in place. And of course the other end plugs into the vacuum system. Nothing's going to work unless you turn the master switch on. And then of course I use the manual. Right. Let's see. This is the manual run. This is the pretty much start and finish. I'm not even going to go into that other stuff. To be honest with you, I don't even know what that means. I'll have to read the book. I'm so new to this thing. It's just one of these things that I had to try. To be honest with you, I'm borrowing it from a friend of mine because he wanted me to try it out. So I thought this is a good project to try it on. Anyway, okay, then we have the two clamps that are going to hold our straight edge in place. Okay, they got all these adjustments. This one is the one you set for the depth that you want to cut, which in this case we're only going to cut 1 inch. Okay, got that set for a 1 inch deep cut, so we don't have to guess on anything now. It's got the degree, but we're leaving it set at 0, and I've cut a test piece to see just how accurate 0 is. And well, even the machinist would be proud of that measurement. Okay, the clamps slide in at the bottom of the track, and then of course it will go under. Pull the clamp up to the bottom of the work, clamp it down, You don't have to over tighten these things. You just want to hand tighten it. They'll tell you that in the instructions, because this has got some of that non-move around stuff on the bottom of this track. Same thing this side. Bring it up, clamp it. Okay, we've got it set to where we want it. Okay, it's time to get our saw on there. Get it set up. Now this saw has got a track in here. I mean, an area where the track sets down in there, and you can adjust as these things wear out a little bit. You can adjust them over with these adjustments. One here at the front and one at the back. That way it will never get loose on you. Push and twist locking on the vacuum hose. It will hook up power to it. As soon as you pull down on this unlock for the switch, it's going to start up. And then you'll push it down and it'll lock in place at 1 inch exactly. See, anytime you let go of the saw switch, the vacuum shuts off. That saves the motor. This piece is just a hair bit thicker than 1 inch, so I need to set it to the nuts, set it down to 1 1/4 inches. Here we go again. Yeah, that's how we do it. Alright, let's put them together. Okay, this is it without any dowels or splines. You can't ask for a better fit than that. Okay, but now I'll have to cut in some spline slots. And much as I hate to drag out the table saw, I've got to cut me a few splines. So there's my 3/16 slaughter. So we've got our marks on there that we're gonna, that way we can make the slots a little longer so that we got a little room to move them around. That just shows you how fast something can screw up. Luckily it's on the bottom side. I don't know what happened, but something did. Some of y'all are going to say I made the slots too long. Got it cut. Got them cut. It's a 1/2 inch on each side, so I cut them 15/16. Dry fit it. Great fit. Goes together snug. We'll take it apart, glue it, get our clamps, and we're ready to go. Okay, when gluing projects inside the house, use interior use. That way when the glue dries, you can still wet it with water and clean it up. A little bit of glue in each spline. A little bit of glue on each spline. All right. But you want to make sure, since these are not dowels, that your end is perfect. Okay, what you want to do is snug the first clamp up. Just barely snug it up, because this will move on you. We need to get this to work straight across. There's not much you can do if you don't have any gap on either side or in the middle. There's really nothing else you can do, because that's from the lumber over the years warping. So all we do now is we just wait for it to glue up and dry. Well, that's going to be a nice joint. It's going to be just as good as this joint here, which was a factory joint, no telling how long ago. I'll cause it to swell a little bit, but then it'll shrink back down. That way we'll have a nice joint. Anyway, I'll call her up and tell her it's ready to be picked up.